Hi, okay, so I'm gonna just do this really quick video. This video is about my Morning Glory Seeds experience. It was just basically a trip report. So basically I went online on Amazon and I decided to get Heavenly Blue Morning Glory Seeds, and I've been told that Heavenly Blue is probably the best seeds for this trip. So I got about, I think, 1,500, and it's from the Dirty Gardener. And I actually counted, there's like a threshold, and it's like 250 is to go, like it's probably the most recommended. It's like where you get like a good trip where it's not too crazy, you don't have too much nausea, you're not vomiting too much. But in almost every single review I looked at, vomiting and nausea and tummy aches, cramps, and diarrhea is something that almost always happens. But talking about my trip report, that never happened to me, so I'm basically just gonna start like this. Okay, so I came home from work and I looked in the mail and I got this and the Morning Glory Seeds, and I was really excited, and then I was like, I'm gonna freaking try these today because I also had some weed on me, so I was like, so I can calm down the nausea. So basically I counted 250 pills, and I read that the most effective ways to chew the pills in your mouth, keep them in your mouth for a couple, maybe like 30 seconds, and then swallow them. So that's what I did. I got some water with me. I had some chocolate, just something like fatty, and I basically took about 15 seeds at a time, put them in my mouth, chewed them for maybe 30 seconds, took a bite of chocolate and chewed them with chocolate, and I basically like held my nose for a good like 15 minutes before I started taking the seeds, because I knew I would probably be grossed out. So I just held my nose just so I wouldn't taste it, and I just imagined that the seeds were like nuts inside the chocolate, so the chocolate just basically felt like chocolate with nuts inside. I had no problem chewing it, like it wasn't gross, it didn't taste gross, and even when I tasted it, for me it tasted just like sunflower seeds, basically. So I've read a lot of reviews that it's disgusting, but I've done a lot of disgusting stuff, you know, like nutmeg and kava and a lot of gross freaking shit. So Morning Glory Seeds did not freak me out. Like, I was just like, these do not taste that bad. And I was reading about getting, like, when you puke, you get like a gritty feeling in your teeth and stuff like that, but I didn't anyways. So I took them around 8 o'clock, and then at 9 o'clock, that's when I started feeling a little bit nauseous, like just the really slightest, like the ever so slightest. So I went to the shower, so I was like, this is the perfect place to take a shower, probably smoke some weed just to calm down, just so I'm not as distracted. And I read that like you don't want to smoke too much weed because you don't want the stoned feeling to like come over the trip and like dominate it. So I just like smoked a little and in a spliff, and then I was just in the shower and I felt calmed down, and the shower water just like calmed me down. It made me not focus so much about like the stomachache that I had. Then it was around an hour and a half after I took the seeds, and I realized that it's 4 o'clock, and I realized that I started getting cramps in the back of, like, behind my knees, and I started getting cramps on the side of my hips, only like 1 or 2 cramps inside of my hips, and then it stopped. And then all I got was just a lot of cramps behind the back of my knees, and those were really annoying, and those lasted throughout the whole trip. Anyways, going to the trip, it was around 2 hours after I took the seeds, and things started to look like they were growing, but every single time you notice that they were growing, you realize that they stayed the same size, but it still looked like they're growing. Like, that's what I like about trips. It's very hard to explain in words, like you have to see it. And then I dropped acid a couple months ago, or a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, I guess. And a lot of the times when I trip on whatever, on DXM or whatever, the acid feeling gets back, where I see the holographic, you know, rainbows that look like flowers and stuff like that. And so a good 2 hours and a half after taking the seeds, it felt like I was on acid. I know a lot of people are like, Morning Glory Seeds has LSD in them, it's completely different than LSD, and I'm like, no, but like, I don't know if it was because of my previous acid trips that I was like kind of getting it back, but it honestly felt like I was on acid, and I was tripping the fuck out. I couldn't stop smiling. It hurt when I stopped smiling. It was such a good fucking trip. While I was tripping hard and hallucinating, I was conscious of stomach aches or nausea. I felt completely fine. I was so euphoric. I wanted to jump up. I went outside. Yeah, I was giving my best friend at the time, and I was just kind of like, oh dude, I'm fucking dripping, stuff like that. I couldn't stop smiling. I looked at my skin and I thought I was purple. Like, I couldn't stand looking at myself because I thought I was purple. Also, like, I'm usually quite blind, but everything to me was in 3D. I had a mirror, just this mirror. I was just checking my face because I looked purple, and I looked so fucking HD. I was like freaking out. Like, I was like, oh my god. Like, everything was really cool. Like, I started to notice like every little flaw in my skin. That's why I tried to like avoid looking at myself. And so I went around, walked outside, felt the soil, and everything was so nice. Like, honestly, it was such a good trip. Like, the visuals were seriously just crazy. Like, everything just looked really amazing. Like, it was just like, I felt like I was on acid, and like, hello? Hi Alice. Yeah. I'm just at home. I'm like feeling better, but no, but like I probably will if it's still bad tomorrow. Thanks for calling though. Alright, bye. Oh my god. Oh, okay. What was I talking about? I got really like sentimental and like telling my friend how much I love her and everything. But that's like any other psychedelic trip. I'm not sure if this is exactly a psychedelic. And I know that there's a lot of extraction methods for the LSA, like, I don't know, just soak it in acid, or you do the overnight water thing. But like, honestly, I was told that, or at least I read a review that like I won't regret chewing it, and chewing it is probably the best method. And I was just like, when I did and I wasn't feeling as nauseous, I didn't puke, I didn't have diarrhea, nothing really bad happened. So I was just kind of like, oh yeah, I'm glad that I chewed them. And I think that's just, it's just a lot better. But like, I feel like this thing is like, you can't take it every day because there is an afterglow. Like, I read reviews saying that the afterglow isn't as bad or anything, but there is certainly an afterglow. Like, I slept a really long time. I didn't go to work the next day. I didn't go to work the day after. And it's like, you get pretty tired. And I remember when I tried to sleep, it was very difficult because I had so much energy and I didn't have any sleeping pills or Seroquel to take just to like knock me out. But one, I was sweating, so I was really hot, and two is like, my eyes were closed, but you still kind of see like the acid type holographic rainbows, and it was just kind of like they were really pretty, but it's like I really was exhausted. Like, my body was exhausted because I was moving around so much. So yeah, so that was just my brief trip report of Morning Glory seeds. I'm sorry the sun is coming down, so it's, yeah. Also, my hair is white, if you haven't noticed, or at least it's yellowish green. And but I'm gonna get it touched up again because, as you can see, the roots are still yellow. And